Today, we will install a Saffire LX-L lock. These same instructions apply to the Saffire EVO LZ-L cylindrical locks. Saffire LX and Saffire EVO LZ locks are available in the same models. Saffire LX locks only work with the community access management software. Saffire EVO LZ works only with third-party aggregator apps. We've got the M002 EEZB-PETZB-52F. This is a Aura bronze lock with a black fascia on it. It has privacy on it, so it's designed to be put on a unit. It's toggle capable, and it is the 2 3/4 inch backset cylindrical lock. And I just happen to order the F. It's dual-handed. It's easy enough to swap these right hand, left hand, whatever I need while I'm putting it on the door. So let's see what comes in the box. Open it up. Here on top, I've got my strike plate. We're not going to be using that today because I don't have a frame here, but that's your strike plate. That is an ANSI 4 7/8 strike. We do have a gasket. If you're putting this on an exterior door, you've got to use this gasket to make sure it's sealed up. We have the back side of the lock here. We've got the exterior card reader portion of the lock here. We have all our screws, spacers, all that, and I'll show you that in a minute. There's a lot of stuff in there you might need. We actually have our latch. Again, this one is 2 3/8. So it does come in, or 2 3/4. It does come in 2 3/8 also if you need it. We have our levers here. This is a Vaughan lever, that EEZB. The second E tells me it is a Vaughan lever. We've got the outside and inside. This is the outside lever. It's got the little set screw spot on it here. We also have the inside lever. You see the little catch here. So when you put it in, it actually snaps and holds that in place. And then we've got the cylindrical plate. This is what I call the hub. It's what actually goes inside the door that attaches the lock to that latch. So, don't need the box anymore. We've got all the pieces there. So, first, we're going to put this on a right-handed door. The bracket here is actually set for right-handed as default. If I needed to change this, I would just take these 2 screws on the top loose, turn that hub 180 degrees, run those 2 screws right back in, and then we'd have a left-handed lock. So I'm gonna put this plate on the outside of the door. Gotta put my latch in first, don't forget that. Make sure you point in the right direction. Our doors I pull to close, so I've gotta put that latch in where when it pulls, it actually pushes the latch. And we've got our screws here. They are dark colored screws to go with this dark colored latch. So I'm just gonna take my drill and run these 2 screws in the mount here real quick. Don't over tighten them, don't strip your screws out, but make sure it's in there nice and good. And a good practice is, you know, for looks wise, try to make sure your screws are kind of lined up and down. So, take my hub, put it through there. Notice the hub does line up very well with the holes that are already in the door. All those holes should line up. So I'm gonna put my exterior body on the lock here. Got to set my handing first, so pull out a couple things out of this hardware bag here. The one is the main spindle that's used to engage the actual latch, and we also have our privacy spindle. So if we look here at the lock, I've got an L and an R. I'm going to turn it towards the R because this is right-handed, and you put this piece in like a diamond, not like a square. So it snaps in, and it's a diamond shape. It is not put in that way like a square. Got to make sure it's set as a diamond. And then I want to make sure that my privacy here, there's a little slide in there I can see when I look through. Make sure it's pointed across, just like the little notches in the metal. And I'm going to take the spindle here and pop into it. You heard it snap in, it's holding it good and tight. So now I take all this and I actually put it through the door. Slides right on in. And I can cheat here. I can actually lay my door down. You can't really do that out in the field. I wanted to show you these while I've got them here. These are spacer pieces This latch is designed for your standard 1 3/4 inch door right now. If your door is thicker or thinner, you might have to add or remove these to that little hub piece. Same way you change the handing on it, you take those 2 screws out, pull the cover plate, add or remove spacers as needed, put it back together. We're not using these. You probably won't use them on most of your doors because the doors tend to be the right thickness. So, take my back housing, I'm gonna pull the cover off. We see here we've got a little privacy plate, and it is set as left-handed right now because I see my little L here. I'm actually going to take that. I'm going to run that screw out, and I'm going to flip this over to right hand. And if I don't drop that screw, I'm going to run it right back in. So I've got my privacy set as right-handed now. Now, one of the other things to do, I've got to get my handle on here. So if we look at the back of the lock, there's a little notch here. I'm going to take and point that notch towards the R for right-handed. I could either take my handle and kind of wedge it in here and do it, but the easiest way to do it is take a pair of needle nose pliers, just stick through there and turn that till it's pointed at the R. I'm going to flip this back over. I'm going to put this little collar on here. And then I'm going to put my handle on, point it up and down, then I'm going to turn it into place. It is now a right-handed lock. We also have a little piece of, I think it's nylon here, that we put in to latch this into place. It's very important. It's part of our fire protection on this door. I've got to actually take that piece and snap it down there, and it holds it all in place. I've got a spring here that goes inside the handle. So I'm kind of holding my finger on there since I've got my door laying down. And I'm just going to slide all this together here. All right, got it all together. I'm going to take my 3 long screws here. And there's 2 at the top and 1 at the bottom. I'm just going to take and run those down. I'm going to try not to tighten them all the way right off because I want to take and try to line this up where it's fairly square on the door. If you're doing a lot of these doors, it might be easy. Make a little template you can put against the edge of the door and against the lock just so it stays lined up. Makes it a little easier when you're doing these in quantity. But I'm going to kind of line it up. I'm going to go ahead and tighten these down the rest of the way. So those are on there. I'm going to plug my cables in, and they only go one way. I know there's 2 cables here, but they're pretty obvious. One's a wide connector, one's a skinny connector. When I plug that in, I actually hear the motor pop on. I can turn my handle, my latch retracts. So I know we're looking pretty good here. For the exterior, I'm going to take and put this little spacer in here. I'm going to go ahead and start my set screw into my handle. And this is, I believe, a 3mm. Yeah, it's a 3mm hex drive here. So I'm going to start tightening that down a little bit with my Allen wrench. I'm going to go ahead and slide it on the door and finish tightening that down. That does have your blue Loctite on there to make sure it's holding well. If you're doing a lot of these, you want to maybe get a wrench that is just that 3mm, so you're not dealing with this big handle on your hand. So I've got that on, and I'm going to test this real quick. I'm going to read my construction card, and it's working. So I know everything's good there. Now I've just got to put my inside housing on, slide it on, make sure that this thumb turn is pointed up, slide it into place, and I've got 3 dark screws here that are they're Torx, and they're a T10 Torx. So I'm going to put them on. I'm going to run the screws down a little bit. I'm not going to tighten them all the way right now. I just want to get them started in there. There's one on the bottom, one on each side. Once I've got them started, I'm going to kind of push in the housing as I tighten them down, just to make sure that housing is tight against the door, no gaps showing. So now we've got our lock on the door. Our privacy thumb turn is working. We can test that by turning the thumb turn and trying to read a credential. I'm getting a flashing red light telling me that I can't get in because the thumb turn is turned. If I turn it back up, I can read my credential and get in. So our lock is mounted, looks nice, works well. Thank you for joining us today.